Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Unlocking Tampa Bay. I'm your host, Brian Burns, and I'm joined, as always, by my fabulous co-host, Molly Barbieri.
Hi, everyone.
Molly, we're really excited to have our current guest in the studio with us today. He is the president and executive director, or producer, of Undiscovered America TV, Will Seccombe. Will, thank you so much for taking time out of a really busy day here on location in Tampa, doing some filming for us. To be on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I mean, it's awesome to be in Tampa, and it's so much fun to explore this destination and really kind of unwrap some of the mysteries of an amazing, incredible destination.
And that's kind of why you're here in the destination to begin with. Is you're here, Undiscovered America TV. You're discovering those kind of hidden treasures that are in our destination in Tampa Bay, and just tell us a little bit about Undiscovered America TV as a just how you guys got started and what kind of a production you guys are.
Absolutely. So I come out of the destination marketing business and have spent a lot of years helping promote destinations, either on the advertising side, we're running a marketing company, running a DMO, or in a lot of different angles, right? So one of the things I always really struggled with is and coming from an advertising or a marketing perspective, there's a joke, right? And you'd sit there and say, you could take any ad of any destination, take off the logo and say, where is this? Yeah. And it's all the same. It all feels the same. I mean, have run big destination marketing organizations in the past. I've been the CMO for Visit Florida. I mean, done a lot of tourism marketing, but really it's a lot of the same. Uh-huh. And we used to joke about the sea of sameness, right? And the whole concept is, how does a destination really tell its story? To be the authentic, talk to the people and see the places that really make it unique and a destination unlike others, right? So we're here in Florida. It gets 130 million visitors a year. There's a lot of really cool destinations, and most of them have a beach,
right?
Most of them have a theme park, or a lot of really cool things to see and do. But how do you separate one from the other? And every destination has a story to tell, and it's the people that make it special. And that's really what we're about: going around the country, identifying really the things that make one destination truly unique. And in my experience, that has a lot to do with the people and the vibe and the culture. And that's really what we try to uncover with this show. And so we started Undiscovered America a couple of years ago. We're now on our second season. We'll air in 107 million households every week, do about 26 different episodes a year. And our host is another destination marketing guy.
Right.
David Downing has been in the destination marketing space a lot, and he's just an exceptional talent. And so that's kind of the history of the show and why we're here. We're just so excited to be back in Tampa Bay. So this is the second episode that we've shot here, and it's even been more fun this week than it was a year ago.
Right. So we were in season 1. You guys featured Tampa. You're back for season 2. So certainly there was a draw, I guess, that brought you guys back. There's something. Tampa has something going on that
Tampa's
stay away
got
from.
Some stuff going on.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely
it's funny when I moved to Florida in, I think, 2008, and just the destination, the entire state has changed so much. But really, Tampa is an example. I mean, so much has happened in this market in the last 10, 15 years. If the Tampa you knew 10 years ago and you came back today, you wouldn't recognize it.
Right. What do you remember from season 1 when you came here to Tampa? What were some of those kind of undiscovered places that you guys were able to highlight that really stand out to you as kind of a unique place that maybe, like you said before, a lot of these destinations have very similar offerings? So what's something that you saw from Tampa that was maybe a little bit different than you would see from somewhere else?
No question. So again, I spent 10 years or 9 years at Visit Florida, and so it was really plugged into Florida tourism, right? Yep. And knew about Ybor City and some of that cool stuff, knew about the Columbia, but really sitting down and talking to the family and learning about the deep history of Columbia was super cool. Going to J.C. Newman and hearing the story of the city that cigars built.
Did you do the cigar rolling when you were at J.C. Newman?
I have a face for radio, so I'm just the producer. But David did, yeah. He
gets to do all the cool stuff, and you're behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But no, just to get the history of, again, the city the cigar's built, and to go through J.C. Newman, and he did get to hand roll a cigar, and but just to watch those machines that have been doing that for 90-year-old machines, just still cranking out the cigars was so cool. But like Jose Marti Park, I never ever.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that exists.
Didn't know existed.
Yeah.
I didn't know that existed until I started working here.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've been here for 20 years.
And the history of Cuba and that whole tie-in. And I just loved, again, the Colombia conversation about the Cuban sandwich. And, why is Tampa the home of the original Cuban sandwich? But the whole tie-in with cigars, right? So it was a meal that cigar rollers could get on their way to work and take it. And it wasn't, no mayo. It wasn't going to spoil, but it represented, Italy and Spain and Cuba and all the workers that were rolling the cigars. So, I mean, just understanding the history all of a sudden makes it so much more unique when you start to see other things around a destination. So I thought that was super cool. Probably one of the most fun conversations we had there was at Madame Fortune's.
Yes.
And hearing
the
about
history
the
behind that
really
is
deep
awesome.
African-American history of Tampa, and in a way that is just so warming and just refreshing and so cool, was that was really eye-opening, and that was a lot of fun. So I mean, again, that's a handful of just really cool examples of things that we did in our first season that I didn't know about. It changed my perspective, and I think once you kind of learn little things about destinations and talk to those people that are, investing their life's work and creating a place and creating the sense of community is really what our show is all about. Because then we're able to, again, really tell a unique personal story about Tampa Bay that makes it a compelling place that you want to come and visit.
So how do you decide where you're going to go? Like, obviously you've been here twice, but if you're going outside, throughout the entire country, how do you pick a destination and then decide, all right, this is where we're going to go, this is where we're going to, and then figure out those spots within that destination that you're going to highlight?
That's really a lot of the fun, right? It's what is Tampa Bay known for? So one of the, I think the opening for our first episode of Tampa is like, hey, Tampa for the, the ocean and, the theme parks and these incredible big destination attractions, but we're gonna go a little bit deeper and find out more. And then you start doing the research and start talking to people, and we're really fortunate to have to work with Visit Tampa Bay to help point us in some direction. Right. So we're really this week focusing a lot on kind of art and culture and culinary and some of those other things that I will tell you, 10 years ago when I came, people weren't saying, oh, Tampa, that's a culinary capital of Florida. But today, that's a very different story. We were down at the Tampa Theatre, and just such a super cool building this morning.
I love
but
the Tampa Theatre.
Went and got a cup of coffee at a little sandwich shop, and come to find out it's got a Michelin rating. How does
was that Supernatural?
Supernatural food
I mean,
and
how does that
Did you have the
happen?
breakfast sandwich there?
I heard it's the best one
Oh,
ever.
It is
so
the best
good.
breakfast sandwich,
It's
and
so
the
good.
donuts are right up there with the best you'll ever
I
have.
heard that.
They make them
that.
fresh every single morning, and they run out by like 10:30.
I mean,
Probably
crazy,
earlier.
crazy. But I mean, again, what a great example.
Absolutely.
Of a destination that's evolving and really to a cool level. That's a corner sandwich shop that's got a Michelin star because their food is so incredible. And I happened to bump into it on accident, and now I'm going to be able to tell that story.
I moved here in 2005, and when I moved here, I think Tampa was known as the chain restaurant capital of the United States. You saw a lot of, Outback got their start here. A couple of other, well-known chain establishments got their start here, and it just seemed like that was kind of the food scene here.
Right.
And now you've got Michelin coming in. They've got 5 Michelin star restaurants, a bunch of Michelin recommended restaurants. There's restaurants beyond the scope of Michelin that are doing really great things in the community.
Right.
Is that something that you've been able to see as well from when you first came here to Tampa and your first visit to now, kind of just the evolution of maybe the dining scene?
Well, I think, again, I look back just walking through town. I mean, the activity levels. I would say the single biggest difference for me, again, from whatever, 10, 12 years ago and now is the outside, how active and how many people are out and about all the time. This is a really active, engaged outdoor community. And I think 12 years ago, I feel like you'd come downtown and stay downtown, and the sidewalks rolled up at 5 o'clock, and that was it. Boy, that's not the case. I mean, everywhere you go, from Water Street to walking just the Riverwalk, it's just incredible.
Even 5 years ago, honestly, I don't feel it was as robust as it is now. Definitely, to your point, the Riverwalks packed 24/7. I mean, Water Street is so busy 24/7. And I mean, that's even our first well-certified neighborhood in America.
Right.
That's something super cool for people to kind of like clutch onto when they're visiting too, and like kind of keep health in mind. And yeah, I think downtown has just really flourished.
It really
too,
has,
and that's been a
think
highlight.
As you guys sit here and you live it and talk it and promote it, 365 days a year. It's probably hard to notice the little things that change over time. You just kind of get used to it.
Right.
But if if it's been a couple of years and you come back, you're like, it is remarkable. The energy level, I think, is much, much higher than I remember it being when I first moved to the state of Florida. And you just see it. You see it everywhere. And I think everybody has to have a dog. If you live in
you see everybody
Everyone has a
walking
dog
dogs
here.
around here.
Everybody's got a dog. Every restaurant's dog friendly. I mean, it's really kind of cool.
Have you had a chance to see the Water Street, kind of that transformation of that section of the city? And I know on your itinerary for where you're filming for this episode, you're going to Sparkman Wharf, which is right there next to Water Street. You're going to a Lightning game tomorrow, which is kind of the heart, I guess, of that Water Street district. But have you, seen how that has kind of transformed, what Tampa is in the downtown core of Tampa?
Yeah, and the history of Sparkman Wharf, I think, is fascinating because it was originally a temporary structures with all the container restaurants, right?
Yeah, like the pods.
I mean, it was, and I remember.
Well, it used to be Channel Side. I don't know if you remember that back in the day when it was Channel Side and you walked in and it was kind of closed off from the rest of
there was
the
a Hooters,
water.
And nothing else, and then the aquarium. I mean, there was literally nothing down there. And we go down there last year, and it's just alive. In fact, actually, I remember we, in a previous life, hosted a big event, a travel industry event here, and for travel industry and meeting planners and tour operators from around the world in Tampa Bay, and we held the event in partnership with Visit Tampa Bay down there at Sparkman Wharf. And oh my God, the energy, the place is so cool, so much fun. Water Street, same thing. I mean, that even last year when it felt like it was just kind of coming out of the ground, and then walking through there this week, it's amazing. I mean, that's transformative. Really, really cool. And we also did yesterday. We went on the craft.
The craft dining.
The craft dining cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, how cool is that? And at a much higher level than you are going to find on the little Seine River cruises in Paris. I mean, that was a really cool experience.
Yeah, the executive chef, Joey Medellin, he was our first guest on the podcast that we did here, and really unique guy, told his whole story. And my thing with craft, like, I'm wondering, they have their kitchen on the boat. You think maybe you get some waves back there and it would be kind of rocky and difficult to work a kitchen back there. But no, he said, he's got his sea legs on him and pumps out great meals. And I think that's just such a unique, you don't really see that anywhere else in the United States, that kind of European style riverboat cruise that's very popular over there,
but very personal, and it was so cool. I did actually ask some of the folks behind the counter there. I'm like, I mean, you got a lot of people in a pretty small space. It's like, it took us a while to figure out exactly how to run and cook a fine dining meal, and that's something that I want to do when I come back. It's actually go do that brunch. That brunch looks like a pretty good deal.
Yeah. The food is incredible.
Yeah, it looks like
so good. I went for dinner. It was really great.
The obviously we're talking a lot about Tampa, but you guys go all over America. What are some other places that really stand out to you, or maybe some of the past episodes that you guys have done, or just like really unique spots that if someone were asking you, where would you go if you want to discover what's unique about America? This is one or two places that you would point people in their direction.
we're so fortunate, again, with the concept of really uncovering and digging a little bit deeper below the surface of a tourism marketing ad or a 30-second TV spot even, right? I mean, you get to meet the people. And I think the most amazing thing for me in starting the show is really about the people that make the place and that are super passionate. And again, investing their time, investing their money, their energies to create. And you certainly see that in Tampa. I think the conversation we had with Madame Fortune was just so cool, because that's this kind of concept that so deep and has so much meaning to the community, but obviously to the family that's building it, right? And the same thing happens. I think destinations that are special, that are going to really come alive and have legs, are those that really tap into that. And, again, in Tampa, we've done some really cool things. Going down to Mise, which was, it's been around for a long, long time. And it's probably the first,
when I moved here, that was the restaurant
probably it.
People told me to go to. You want a high-end restaurant, go to Mise or Donatello, the Italian restaurant up on Dale Mabry.
Right. I mean, so but that's people. I mean, that's the people that have invested in their passion into the community, and those are the people that change destinations over time. And we've had that. A totally different example, and it's non-competitive to Tampa, was Estes Park, Colorado. We were up and filming an episode up there, and snowed 3 feet. We were staying at the Stanley Hotel, historic from The Shining fame, right?
Yeah.
And
that's
ghosts,
that's
and
so cool.
you wake up
actually.
with 3 feet of snow, and it's super quiet, and you're like, oh my God.
Way to set the scene,
the
though.
ghost. Yeah, but again, I can remember the beauty of Rocky Mountain National Park and the beauty, you can put that in an ad, but the people that have invested that decided this is where we want to live and make this place home, and invite people into it. And one of the greatest comments I had there was a guy that runs a whiskey tasting restaurant, a little whiskey tasting outlet at the Stanley Hotel, but he took us to his home. And right on the verge of Rocky Mountain National Park. He's like, the thing that makes us special is locals that have lived here for 20 years are pulled off at the side of the road to catch the sunset, because it's just so stunning, right? And you talk to people like that are passionate. That's the same thing that's, again, what separates a destination. And I think as we're talking about travel, I think that's the next evolution, right? I mean, you're making decisions to go on a vacation with your family or your friends. Any place has a lot to see and do. But you want to immerse yourself. You want to meet the people. I was walking over from the Tampa Theatre this morning and went to a kava shop to get a cup of tea because it was a little chilly. And she's like, "Have you ever had kava?" I'm like, "No." She gave me the whole history. She goes, "Well, you got to have some." And the whole toast and all that. And here I am talking to the, I guess, barista at a kava. I don't know if that's what they call them at a kava store, but this super cool lady that taught me the history of kava, explained it to me, did the toast. And I'm like, now that woman should be, hospitality employee of the month, because she didn't know I was from out of town, but brought me into the culture, and, that's what I think is special. So I think we were searching for kind of meaning and people that make places special.
That's where you think the next kind of evolution is with tourism, is maybe that kind of authenticity, that finding those kind of special moments where you connect with the people and the community, not just go to an attraction.
Right. I mean, I do. I think there's we're going in two different directions, right? We got AI on one side, which is totally revolutionizing communication, getting information around a destination. And how many times I've used Chat GPT to say, tell me more about this. We were down at 1920, the art gallery yesterday, and there's a great piece of art that apparently is a multi-million-dollar piece of art that's in this place. And I'm taking pictures of it. I'm like, tell me about the artist, tell me about the story. And it was about a World Series game in 1927 with Babe Ruth and all this but it was set in Tampa. And I'm like, was the World Series played in Tampa in 1927? Like, no, it wasn't. But I'm also a baseball fan, and I got to see Babe Ruth's home run ball.
We have the baseball museum in Ybor, yes.
The longest home run ever hit. Is that the one you're talking about?
The University of Tampa.
At University of Tampa, at the Plant Museum.
Henry B. Plant Museum.
And you think about that place, how incredible is that? 511 rooms built in 1892, I think it opened, or 1891, something like that. But they've been welcoming people to Tampa for over 100 years. And again,
it's a really cool history to hear about the railway system and Henry B. Plant and like why he built that hotel, you know, for his friends and family who were visiting him to, you know, come and stay and experience what he created. And it's actually a really cool story. And a lot of people don't really understand that there is a history behind it, but
or that Tampa has that rich of a history as a tourism destination.
Yeah, that's a great way to put
over
it.
100 years, people have been coming here to, you know, to get away from the cold and the north.
That's actually a very good perspective.
But it's pretty cool. So there is a lot of history, and it was interesting reading through some of the exhibits there and talking about how, you know, Mr. Plant personally found the people that came down. So like the head porter said, no, you don't apply for a job to come to this hotel. You're recruited and brought down, right? So, I mean, even then the kind of high-end quality service was kind of built into the DNA of Tampa.
Yeah.
So you did visit the baseball museum.
No, I'm going there. I haven't
going there
been
later?
there. I did see the home run ball at the other museum, but we got to do the baseball museum too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely do that.
I recently read something where they tried to recreate that home run, or at least see, you know, because there's a lot of mythology behind that. Yeah, and they're like, did he really? And you were basing it on accounts of people from like the 1920s. And it's like, you know, they didn't have the technology that we do now. You know, you see the exit velocity and the arc of the ball now whenever something gets hit. But back then, you know, was someone taking a tape measure to go figure that out? Or so they think that, you know, the footage, I don't remember exactly how far it was.
538 feet or something.
Yeah,
crazy
they
like
think
that.
it was around there. They can't really verify it, but
Well, I didn't know that the first ever professional sports stadium was a baseball stadium, or the first in Florida, I think, was in Tampa over at the hotel, at the Tampa Hotel. Yeah.
Oh,
and that was something you learned from that tour of the hotel.
From the tour of the hotel. Yeah. Pretty fascinating.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. You got to go check it out.
We should
It's
go-
definitely worth a trip.
You
To
know,
the
a lot
Henry
of
B.
the
Plant
times,
Museum?
Yeah.
I did it a lot for school. I attended the University of Tampa.
Did
so,
you?
Yeah, we
Very
did.
cool.
We had to do that a lot for projects, and we kind of studied that
But
history.
it's really interesting. It even goes back to the whole conversation where we started. It's individuals, right? So this was Mr. Plant going to Europe and bringing back all the things that he thought were, you know, to make it a really special European type of experience to the Tampa Hotel, historic Tampa Hotel. But that was an individual creating these and coming up with crazy ideas. I mean, the boating on the river. I mean, so cool.
Let us know, where can, you know, viewers of our podcast, where can they find Undiscovered America TV? Where can they see this episode about Tampa and some of the other episodes that you guys have put together?
Absolutely. We're on, again, we're on 107 million homes every single week, and you can find us pretty much any destination around the country can find it. It's also streaming on Roku, the Roku channel, on all the streaming services as well. So just check us out on Undiscovered America TV or undiscoveredamerica.tv, and you can find check out the Tampa episodes and all the destinations that we visit before, and what we're going to do moving forward.
Can you give us a teaser? Where are you heading after Tampa?
Actually, we're going to go up to Asheville.
Oh, okay.
And really kind of talk a little bit about the destination that was, the destination that is, and I think probably more than anything, again, that's going to bring out the people, right? It's really about the people that make the place, and again, I think that's the key to really enjoying a destination. It's not just, maybe my old self would have just liked to just plop down and, you know, sit at the beach and read a book and be happy.
Yeah.
But really now it's I get much more joy out of just meeting people and talking and learning. Kind of going back to AI. I mean, you can use it and find out so much information about buildings and history and things. You can immerse yourself a lot more than just relying on an old visitor's guide.
It's a lot of information at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Will, we appreciate you making some time out of you. I was looking at your itinerary. You've got such a robust itinerary of places you're going around Tampa Bay, but thanks for squeezing us in here for 20 minutes or so. We appreciate you stopping by and giving us with your knowledge and perspective on where Tampa has been and where it is now, and maybe where it's headed in the future.
Well, I'll tell you, the future's bright in Tampa Bay. There's no question about that, and I'm excited to hopefully come back and do a season 3 or season 4 because it doesn't disappoint. And again, in just a year, the evolution is fascinating. So amazing destination, amazing place, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. So keep it up.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We'll have to have you on for another podcast episode in the future.
Anytime.
And get an update.
Absolutely.
All right.